Hello, Heather, Lauren, Nicole, Elizabeth, Chloe, Nancy, Brandy, Tony, Mary, Jillian, Nicole, Mawish, Mildred, Liz, Gina, and Natasha. This is going to be a very quick bonus video in honor of Thanksgiving. I'm thinking about leadership, ethical leadership, and virtues. We talked a lot in the various forums, I think, about deontological ethics and utilitarian ethics and those 2 points of view, and how both of those ways of looking at ethics can give us some helpful guidelines and insights into ethical problems. We talked about virtue ethics a little bit, but I think less than either of those two. And I think virtue ethics does have an important contribution for leadership. For example, the virtue of courage is vital for leaders. And that really doesn't show up in deontological ethics or utilitarian ethics. The idea of being brave enough to do the right thing, even when it's costly. Both deontological ethics and utilitarian ethics are very heady, very intellectual, very analytical. And when we need to make a decision to do the right thing, I think we also need some emotion involved. And courage is quite often an emotional response, that we are able to overcome our fear. Because that's really what courage is. Courage is not the lack of fear. Courage is the ability to overcome fear and do the right thing in spite of fear. So ethical leaders need courage, because if you don't have courage, fear will often prevent you from doing the right thing, even if you know what the right thing is to do. But what I really wanted to talk about today was the virtue of gratitude. And that's another thing that doesn't really show up too well in deontological ethics or in utilitarian ethics. The idea that being grateful to others is an important part of being a leader. And I think that's true for several reasons. One is that a practice of gratitude really helps a leader not get caught up in one's own ego. It's really hard to be really full of yourself and be grateful at the same time. A practice of gratitude, of being grateful to other people, of being grateful just for the circumstances of one's life, for the gifts of one's upbringing or education or one's place in the world, being grateful that we live in the United States rather than in a rural part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, for example, helps us to realize that it's not all about us, helps a leader to realize that it's not just that all of our accomplishments are not just because of our own abilities and intelligence and greatness. But gratitude also helps us to recognize others' contributions. And I think if we make a practice of expressing gratitude to others, other people on our teams, other people who work for us, that also helps create a very positive work culture and encourages people. You may have heard that a lot of times what's even more important to people is being appreciated than getting a raise. That both of those things are obviously important, but and one does not necessarily replace the other. But just a raise is not enough for most people. Most people have a desire to be appreciated, a desire to be thanked, and being grateful to the people with whom we work is an important virtue for a leader to have. I am keeping this really short today because this is a bonus video, and there's a link to an article in the post if you have any questions, or if you'd like to talk about this or anything else, or if I can be helpful in any way. You know how to get in touch with me. Thank you.